Hello and welcome to my second video on this chess series. So today we're going to be talking about how to arrange the chessboard and also how to move the pieces on the board. So firstly, we're going to start with how to arrange the board. Now the rooks are going to be the first. So the rooks belong at the edge of the board. So black rooks begins at A8 and H8, while white rook begins at A1 and H1. Now followed by the knight. White knight stays on B1 and G1, and black knight stays on B8 and G8. Now we have the bishop next. The bishop stays on C1 and F1, whereas the black bishop stays on C8 and F8. Now next we have the king. The king stays on E1 and black king stays on E8. Now white queen stays on D1 and black queen stays on D8. Then lastly we have the pawns. The pawns belong in front of all of these pieces on the second rank and the seventh rank. So this is how to arrange the board, and once you do this, you're good to go. Now let's start with the movement of each of these pieces. The rook moves in a cross-shaped pattern, and it can occupy a lot of squares, exactly 14 from the center of the board. Next we have the knight. The knight moves in an L shape, and it can move to 8 squares from the center of the board. Now the way that you want to be sure on how to move the knight is you move 2 steps, then you take a turn. So 2 steps in any direction, as long as it's straight, then you take a turn. And the knight is one of the hardest pieces to actually understand for especially during the beginning. Once you understand, you're going to get the hang of it. So next we have the bishop. Bishop moves in an X-shaped pattern. So there are 2 bishops, one on the dark square and one on the light square. So each of these pieces move on this square. So the dark square bishop can never cross to the light square, and the light square bishop also can never cross to the dark square. So that's why there are 2 bishops. Now this bishop both move the same way, diagonally, but on different colored squares. Now next we have the queen. So the queen is basically the combination of both the bishop and the rook. So the queen moves in a star shape, I will say. Next we have the king. The king moves in a star shape, but unlike the queen, which can move to an unlimited amount of squares in the star-shaped direction, the king can only move 1 step at a time. Now next we have the pawn. The pawn moves in one direction, which is forward. So for the first move, the pawn can have the option of moving 2 steps or 1 step. But after that decision is made for the pawn, the next move can only be 1 step at a time. And when the pawn wants to capture, it captures sideways. Let's go back and know the values and the points of each of these pieces. So the rook is worth 5 points, the knight is worth 3 points, the bishop is worth 3 points, the queen is worth 9 points, the king doesn't have any value, because anything that happens to your king means the end of your game. Next we're going to be focusing more on how these pieces move, so stay tuned and subscribe for the next lesson.